Hello, my name is Vanessa Jumalon, and I would like to go over how is algorithmic mitigation used to prevent algorithmic bias and discrimination. Firstly, what is algorithmic bias? They are systematic errors in computer-developed programs that can have disproportionate results that can target certain groups of users. An example for credit cards would be the Apple Card, in which multiple users had complained that the credit card gave higher limits to men. For search engines, examples would be when Sophia Emotionable did a search for the term black girls back in 2011, and the first result was a highly sexually explicit link. She did another search for why are black people so in Google, which also had terms to fill in the question that were highly stereotypical, which could reinforce present biases in the person searching. For advertisements, social media companies gathered data on what the user watches, clicks on, or the topics that they frequent, along with the personal information that they provide, like birthdays. Through that, they can predict and assume the type of person you could be and what you would like and what you should see. Now, what is algorithmic mitigation? It is like cleaning the flaws caused by these algorithmic biases. Algorithmic mitigation is necessary for the ever-expanding world of the internet and technology. More companies and jobs are using machine learning which rely on these algorithms, like in healthcare. Some medical diagnoses consider racial characteristics that can easily carry bias or views of discrimination. How does algorithmic bias affect users? One of the common issues that can arise from algorithmic bias is exclusion of certain races, age, and other characteristics through job advertisements, searching to buy a home, and such. An example is when Amazon tried to use AIs to scan through resumes, but it resulted in sexism. According to Reuters, Amazon was hoping that this type of technology could process through the sorting of job applications more efficiently. Google can also act as echo chambers when users search for specific keywords in a single search, and it can have implied prejudices as results. Another example for continued discrimination is that algorithmic bias can affect how police officers are being deployed in certain neighborhoods. A Vice article mentions that this program called PredPol uses algorithms to predict crime in specific areas by 500 feet by 500 feet sections of a city so that police officers can patrol or survey certain areas, and through the data gathered, they assume certain crimes can commit at particular times and how frequently they can happen. A popular documentary film called Coded Bias goes over the inaccuracies of AI in facial recognition technology and automated assessment software. Such problems result from racial and gender biases, and major companies like IBM, Microsoft, and Amazon use this type of technology. It is necessary to address the problems with AI facial recognition technology since it is a growing form that has become abundant to the general public, like with one's iPhone, along with the news that more governments are purchasing or developing facial recognition technology. Now, when NPR was interviewing Joy, she had emphasized on the FDA model, which is acknowledging that not all drugs work for everybody, there are limitations. She meant that for programs. She is deploying AI systems so that programs will fit for different types of people and not just a one size fits all. Now, what are some solutions? Joseph Blass had mentioned using a third party safeguarding method in which companies do not have direct access to the collected data that would be used to develop their data sets to construct systems to prevent discrimination. The suggested method would be taking legal action. An example would be with Joshua Kroll and his colleagues, in which they argued to change current employment discrimination laws so that it can compel engineers to design programs for non-discrimination. Another suggestion was by Tobias Bayer with calibration. Calibration is like a litmus test for whether an algorithm estimates correctly what it is supposed to estimate. It compares predictions with actual outcomes, so it is like a backwards way of looking. The issues that surface from algorithms is still new, and legal action is slow since this topic is unprecedented for governments. Finding clear solutions to prevent algorithmic bias is still uncertain, and methods that researchers are testing are not guarantees. However, awareness and pressure on companies to double check and continuously update their datasets to reduce algorithmic bias should be a common practice in the meantime. For now, third party safeguarding and calibration seem more viable and more effective compared to legal changes. However, with more technology advancing, legal changes eventually have to happen so that they are not vague and that non discrimination laws can be more effective. Now, I would firstly like to thank for coming to my presentation and listening. I hope that people are more aware of the complex issues with algorithms and how they can affect us in a subtle way. Thank you.